Here we are on Good News Friday, and I'm going to keep calling it Good News Friday, even when 100% of the news isn't good. But this is Randy Kirk, and if you like this kind of content, you know what to do. I am still hoping that you will join Patreon, where we are doing the brain trust thing. We are trying to come up with the understanding of the future, and then we're going to be reporting on that to the rest of the world when we have some good ideas. Anyway, so yes, all the news wasn't good this week, but we're still going to report the good news, and we will absolutely talk about the bad news. So I want to start with all the FUD. Oh my goodness, all of the negative headlining. The LA Times, which has been a horrible newspaper for a very, very long time. I ended my subscription to the Times probably about 30 years ago because the news was so completely slanted and so ridiculous. But their news on Tesla is always negative. They only run headlines on Tesla if they can find something negative to say. So, of course, they brought up this whole matter of the recall, this recall that was handled by an over-the-air update, but had to be reported in any case. And they said, gee whiz, should Tesla owners even be allowed to drive their cars with their FSD, when it's so dangerous? Now, nothing anywhere that anybody has said about this recall suggested there was any accidents as a result of the fixes that were needed to be put in. But never mind, the LA Times doesn't care about that. And they weren't the only one. Pretty much every headline about the recall just mentioned the total number of cars that needed to be recalled, said nothing about the fact that it was over-the-air update, said nothing about the fact that there have been no accidents reported. This is just, horrible reporting, and it's typical of the folks that are out for some reason, out to get Tesla or just don't like Tesla for some reason. Now, there was another whole situation with the stock being down yesterday very significantly at the end of the day. And you saw quite a few headlines that were saying, gee, due to the recall, the stock dropped dramatically. However, if you look at the chart, you'll see that the stock did drop a tiny, tiny bit at the announcement of the recall. Then it bounced back up again to where it had been. And then it dropped dramatically at the end of the session, along with all of the other go-go stocks. If you look at all of the Cathie Wood stocks and her actual ETFs, as well as the kinds of stocks that she follows, you'll see that pretty much all of them dropped off dramatically at the end, as did the NASDAQ. And most pundits were saying this was due to the high PPI reporting yesterday. I agree that the PPI report yesterday was unfortunate. I'm sad that the numbers continue to go up on the inflation indexes, and the producer price index is in some ways more difficult to take in than even the consumer price index, because that's talking about the future. Those prices have to follow through into the consumer. So I didn't like those headlines. And I think that it's giving some indication that maybe this is going to be harder to deal with than we thought. I still continue to think that the Fed should pause, just let it work out for a couple of months, because most of the increase right now is in food, and nobody's going to stop eating just as much food as they're eating now. That's not going to be what they're going to give up. So food prices aren't going to drop down until there's a fix in the balance of what's being made and how it's being made. The other thing was housing, which we've talked about a lot, which is a lagging indicator. That is still not coming down. And that's not going to change as a result of the interest rates going up. And the one that could possibly come down as interest rates goes up would be energy, as people don't travel as much, don't drive as much, and possibly freeze in their homes rather than have their gas bill go crazy like they did in California last month. So yes, it's possible that higher interest rates could affect those things, as well as, of course, housing purchases. That's definitely going to be affected. And we are seeing that we now have more than a 3%, 30 basis point increase since kind of the flat level that we were at around 3.5, and a little lower actually than 3.5 for quite a long time. So that's a little unnerving. It does worry me a little bit, but not sure that the market is done with this. It's hard to say, but Tesla, I don't think should really be affected that much. But at the end of the day yesterday, I think that's what did it. That's what I think would be realistic in terms of everybody dropped at exactly the same time. So then the other headlines that came out, which were sad, I just hate to see all these stupid headlines, was that Tesla owners were unhappy about the price cuts, and now they're really unhappy about Tesla opening up charging stations to the hoi polloi, the folks that don't drive Teslas. Well, I'm sure there are 3 or 5 or 17 people that were unhappy about that. I don't think it's going to be a problem. And I just think it's headline grabbing. If you put Tesla and something negative in a headline, you're going to get more opens. So I guess we just have to live with those. And part of the reason that I have this channel is because I'm dealing with the FUD. Part of the reason I wrote the Elon Musk mission and the Elon Musk method was because of all the darn FUD and all the darn folks that are haters of the whole Tesla ambition. So that's the end of the bad news. Let's get on to the good news. So breaking news. It looks like Mexico is going to be at least one place where Tesla is going to expand, but it's not yet called a gigafactory. So we don't really know if it's the one that was going to be close to the border of the US or whether it's going to be the one that was going to be close to the airport in Mexico City. That we're still waiting for the rest of this news to break, but apparently the news is going to be breaking shortly. It's going to be in one of those 2 places. And we don't know yet the size or the scope or the purpose of this particular expansion, right now just being called an expansion by the president of Mexico. So we'll see what happens there. But it's good news. That gives us some evidence of an expansion of some kind coming up. The stock was up today dramatically as the stock market was not following Tesla. Tesla was counter to the market most of the day and sometimes moving in the same direction, but much in greater percentage. And again, I look at this commonly as being that Tesla just overreacts downside and then overreacts upside. It just has it's a faster mover, whatever the news is going on out there. And I really think this was just a reaction to yesterday. It got oversold. And so it had to pop back up as the money came back in, seeing a bargain. That's all. That would be my explanation. What do I know? Maybe not, probably not as much as you do. You probably know more about it than I do, but that's just my take. And that's maybe part of the reason that you listen to this is to get one more opinion about what might have taken place over the last few days with the stock market. Overall, though, a great couple of weeks. I'm sure many of you are very happy with the progress of Tesla stock over the last 3 or 4 weeks. All right, what else? The price increases in Australia and in China, more evidence that in particular on the Model Y, and that's what we want. We want the price, we want to see that the Model Y is still sold out. The increases in production are Model Y in Berlin, increases in Austin, and maybe even increases in Shanghai as we go into this new era. But whatever we know for sure that we're probably looking at 500 to 600,000 more Model Ys this year. That is what the market needs to absorb. And apparently the market is absorbing what's been done so far. And therefore you see the price increases taking place on the Model Y in particular, with Model 3 tending to be small price decreases, indicating that, as I mentioned in a video the other day, they're trying to broaden the difference in price between the Model Y and the Model 3 in order to get more uptake on the Model 3. Okay, so then what else? We have good news. We have that Tesla is possibly in talks to buy Sigma Lithium. They're talking to their advisors. They're talking to various folks. There's evidence, at least, that Sigma Lithium, a mining and refining company, is on the block, is available for sale for around $3 billion, and that Tesla is in talks to potentially acquire this mining company. I think that would be a good idea. I'm hoping it happens, at least if the deal is a good deal. So that I'm looking at that as good news. What else is good news? It's only 11 days to March 1. And this morning I did a video, and it really didn't get very many views this morning. I was kind of shocked. I was listing the questions that I'm interested in hearing the answers to from Elon Musk right now. And in particular, some of these questions may be answered on March 1st, and maybe some of them won't be answered on March 1st. It could be answered before or after. But they're the questions that are, if I was going to be doing an interview, if I got the privilege of doing an interview with Elon Musk, These would be the questions I would ask in that interview. So you might want to go back and look at that video. I think it was a list of questions that nobody else is asking, or that not many people are asking. They're different kinds of questions from a different kind of heart. My heart is for the mission. Yes, I want to make money on the stock, just like you. I want to make money on the stock. Yes, I want the company to do well. Yes, but I'm mostly all about the mission. And the questions I would ask Elon would be more about the mission, and also helping fanboys like you and me, helping us to better understand the details of what's going on by more reporting, more detailed reporting, more frequent reporting on the things that are the most interesting. And I don't know why there's not more reporting. I don't think it has to do with competition. I don't think the kind of reporting that we would like to see is going to alert the competition that they need to do something differently than they're already doing. So I'm not clear why we don't get like monthly updates on certain things like the 4680 production. But anyway, look at the video, and you'll see what I'm thinking about right now in terms of the things I'd like to hear from Elon. So once again, Good News Friday. There was plenty of good news for this Friday. There'll be a couple more videos over the weekend, and then on Sunday night, on a regular basis, I've got the Friday night, which is the Good News Friday, the good news for the week. I try to give a little summary of the good news. And then on Sunday, a little intro to what's coming up next week. What kind of reports are coming out that matter? What kinds of things do we think that Tesla will be announcing or be talking about in the upcoming week? What are the things that we should be looking for that might affect the stock in the coming week? Maybe a little bit about the macro. And when I see something that I think is important on the technical side, I don't know technical analysis, but I know enough about technical analysis to say, oh, there's a base that's been built, and maybe that's going to mean the stock is going to move up or move down from that base. Anyway, I try to do that kind of stuff on Sunday night. So check on Sunday night if you'd like to see my analysis of what's coming up in the week ahead. I'm going to try to do those two things on a regular basis. And then this week I tried a midweek report. And so it was kind of like there was a bunch of news on Wednesday morning. And so I popped up a quick midweek report because there was a lot that I thought that you'd like to hear about. Anyway, like, subscribe, join Patreon. It's been great talking to you.